I, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, do solemnly swear
I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the President's Guy. A bit of a somber video, as I'm sure you could guess from the thumbnail and the title. Today's video was originally going to be a reaction I was doing to Dr. Mike's. He did a video about how all the presidents have died. And that's ready to go, and I'll still get that out next Monday. But as many of you have probably seen, today, Sunday, when this is recorded, it's been announced that, as you can see on screen, that former President Biden has been given a pretty severe diagnosis of prostate cancer. And according to the report, it has metastasized to his bones. And I kind of just wanted to share my thoughts on it. I've made it no secret what I think of Joe Biden as a man and as a president. Anyone who watched my Biden documentary, well, about 50 of you, know that I'm a fan of Joe Biden, both as a man and as a president. I've read quite a lot on the man. To me, I use modern relatively lightly because he is an older man, but to me, he's up there with Jimmy Carter in terms of the character of the human being. I admire the man. Overcome a lot of tragedy, and regardless of what you think of him, and I've been somewhat pleased to see that people on both sides of the aisle, even in President Trump, have been, pretty humane in their response to this. But it's an emotional thing because we as humans tend to take personal investment and what's the word I'm searching for? You have a stake in an investment into someone, and you take ownership of them. That's the word I'm looking for. We do this with celebrities and athletes, particularly ones from our local town and our state. And we do this with politicians, particularly ones that we supported. But the majority of my life, I was born in 97. President Biden became the vice president in 2009. So for more of my life than not, he's been kind of, in the spotlight of my life. So I feel almost like I know him, sort of, and it's painful to hear this news because anyone who understands this kind of thing, and it's very personal for me. My wife is a nurse. I work in animal medicine, so I fully grasp the severity of this situation. For those who are kind of reading this headline, he was given a Gleason score of 9, and for those who don't know, the Gleason scale is basically a scale from 0 to 10 that rates the likelihood of your cancer cells basically spreading to other parts of your body. And his is given a 9, so it's pretty serious, and it's already spread from his prostate to his bones, which prostate cancer is no joke. Metastasis of cancer is no joke. It's pretty severe. From the article, from the several ones that I've read, and this one's from ABC, it does say that it appears that it might be hormone susceptible, which is as positive as this can be, is a positive sign for what treatment could be. But and it's got a pretty good survivability, years on. Biden's already well above the median age for the average age of death for someone with prostate cancer. But it does have a high survivability in the short term. But Biden's also a very old man getting a late stage diagnosis. So, it's unclear right now where it's going to go. But it's just sad. Someone who 50 years ago, at what seemed to be the peak of his life, has to lose his wife and child and almost his 2 other sons, and then one grows up and passes away from cancer, and now he's dealing with this. It's unfair, really, is what it is. It's almost the feeling of like being told your friend or family has cancer. Especially someone like President Biden, who even back to his vice presidency and before was working on the Slingshot Cancer Initiative. The Senate, ends up naming it after his son Beau. It was a very personal thing for him, and now he's caught up in it. So, of course, all the best wishes to President Biden and to his family who are having to deal with this right now, and everyone is hoping for a speedy recovery. But hopefully this ends well. This doesn't end tragically. We just lost President Carter. Not long ago we lost President Bush. Not long before that, it'd be really hard on the country to lose another president so soon. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully President Biden enjoys a long post-presidency, gets to do the things he wants to do, gets to see his presidential library built, and hopefully gets to see history treat him with the kindness that his career and his presidency and his legacy, his character as a man deserve. That's kind of just, my ramblings and my feelings on the subject. There doesn't have to be a bunch of discussion in the comments, particularly if you're going to say something stupid and inhumane and just outright, despicable. Don't. Just save your time. I will block you. But Godspeed, Mr. President, and may this turn out with all the positive fortune that it can. We'll see you guys next time.